I'm still not sold on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as true NFC Super Bowl contenders. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why should the Buccaneers or I, the viewer, care if you are sold on the Bucs or not? Well, you shouldn't at all because your team is really good. 4-1, tied for the best record in football, and Baker Mayfield is either at or near the top of the MVP discussion. 4th in pass yards, 3rd in pass touchdowns, 10-1 touchdown to interception ratio, 9th in QBR, 9th in quarterback rating, 8th in PFF grade. And Baker Mayfield, obviously, we've seen the comebacks this year as well. 4 fourth quarter comebacks. He's been outstanding. When trailing this season, 75.3% adjusted completion rate, 856 yards, 9 touchdowns, 1 pick, a 119.4 passer rating. He is absolutely amazing when he's trailing in football games so far this year. And again, to me, the performance on Sunday versus Seattle Seahawks when trailing was the most impressive. When trailing versus the Seahawks, 10 of 11, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, a perfect 158.3 passer rating for Baker Mayfield. So when he trails, that's when he's at his best, and we see that with him. The confidence just oozes off of Baker Mayfield. He's an absolutely outstanding quarterback, and that performance was even more impressive because I think Seattle's a top 5 defense in the NFL, and they absolutely shredded him for 4 quarters. So shout out to Baker Mayfield because he's been doing it this year with a lot of injuries around him, especially in the wide receiver core. However, those injuries in the receiver core may have been a blessing in disguise because Emeka Egbuka is an absolute superstar, as it seems all Ohio State wide receivers are. 4th in the league in receiving yards, 5th in yards per catch, 2nd in touchdowns, a historic first 5 games for Emeka Egbuka. The first player in NFL history with 25 catches, 400 yards, and 5 touchdowns in their first 5 games. The highest passer rating when targeting a receiver in the NFL this year, Emeka Egbuka. When Baker targets Emeka Egbuka, his passer rating is 145.3. That's how good the Baker Mayfield and Emeka Egbuka connection has been so far. So again, with Chris Godwin back, it's probably going to take him a little time to build up his stamina and his steam coming off that major injury. With Mike Evans coming back soon, this could easily be the best wide receiver core in football to pair with the absolute gunslinger that Baker Mayfield is. However, the way they are winning right now is not sustainable to me, and let me explain. First of all, the run game has taken a big step back this year. It went from 22nd, it's 22nd in the league this year, and it was top 5 in the league last year. And a lot of it is due because the offensive line hasn't been as good this year. They have the 9th worst pass block grade per PFF and the 3rd worst run block grade per PFF. Now, that will get a lot better with Tristan Wirfs coming back. He returned last week, but still, there's some more injuries on that offensive line, and there's been some underperformance there to start the year as well. That's concerning to me. Second of all, I'm concerned about this defense. 26.4 points per game is bad. 10th worst in football. They're still stopping the run. 9th best in football. You got to shout out Vita Vea there. He's one of the best run stoppers in the league. He has a lot to do with that. And while that's still good, 9th best in the league in stopping the run, it's not as good as it has been in previous years. It was 4th last year, and it was 5th in 2023. So they've slid down just a tiny bit as far as their run defense goes. But once again, they're bottom half of the league versus the pass. 20th this year versus the pass. They're 20th in opposing yards per attempt, and they're 22nd in opposing completion percentage. And it's not like they've faced a gauntlet of QBs so far as these pass offenses go. It's been Michael Penix, CJ Stroud, Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts, and Sam Darnold. So some really good quarterbacks in there, but it's not like these pass offenses they've been facing are super elite, and they've been struggling against them nonetheless. And while they've made some improvements on their edge as far as rushing the passer, they're 5th in the league in pass rush win rate. It hasn't paid off into sacks. They're tied for 18th in football in sacks. Plus, they needed dramatic comebacks to win each of the first 3 weeks against 3 mid or flat out bad teams with the Falcons, the Texans, and they obviously needed that comeback against the lowly New York Jets as well, which Baker deserves a ton of credit for being great in the clutch and coming back and leading those 4th quarter drives. And good teams are going to find ways to win those games, which again, like I said, they're definitely a good team. They're one of the best teams in the NFL. I'm just not sure they're a great team. I personally would have the Eagles and the Lions above them in the NFC, with the Packers and the Rams about the same tier as far as them in terms of NFC contenders go. But Joe, I got to kick it to you. What do you think about these Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Are they an elite NFC contender, or are there some teams above them?
You know, it's funny because I remember I couldn't make the NFC episodes when we were talking about winning divisions. And I remember there was a lot of hype around some other teams. We're not going to name any teams. We're not going to point any fingers. I was rather surprised that nobody picked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I picked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I thought they were going to win this division. I still think they're going to win.
Sammy picked the Bucs.
Okay, well, at least somebody picked the Bucs because the Bucs deserve to win this division. They're going to win this division. They're the best team in this division. Now, to your point, there's a lot of questions. I think they need to be active at the trade deadline. They need to get the run game going. Bucky Irving needs to get going. Rashad White has to get going. This running game has to happen. We know they have the talent. We know that they have everything they need to get it going. However, like you said, this is the best wide receiver core in the league, and they probably have one of the most hardcore, just team first quarterbacks in the NFL. I love Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield had a video that was taken to him talking trash to Seahawks fans as he's getting right around to the tunnel, just talking mad shit. And that has been Baker Mayfield since he was in college. I mean, you saw the thing. He's walking up and down the sideline, telling the guys on the other side to go fuck them, grabbing his sack and all that shit. Bro, like trying to shake hands at midfield, and they're just ignoring him. He just starts clapping in their face, like yelling at him.
He's the best.
Brother, I love me some Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is good for the NFL, and I would love to see Baker Mayfield win an MVP. I think this team's going to win the division. He's going to be directly in those talks, especially if he's playing the way he's playing right now. I mean, he's absolutely just decimating every defense he goes against. Does not matter, but their schedule is tough. I mean, they got the Lions, then they get a kind of a game at the Saints, then they get the Patriots, the Bills, the Rams, the Cardinals and Saints again, and then they finish with the Falcons, Panthers, Dolphins, Panthers. So they finish really, really easy, but that middle slate is going to be a big, big test, especially what we've seen from the Bills, what we've seen from the Rams, what we've seen from the Patriots lately, and we know what the Lions are doing now. They're clicking on all cylinders. Week 1 was a fluke. So we are going to find out a lot about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the next 7-8 weeks of this season to see exactly what they have in them, because that is more or less every playoff contender you will possibly see, whether it's in the Super Bowl or on your way to the NFC Championship game to the Super Bowl. You're going to see the Rams or the Lions most likely on that path. And if you get to the Super Bowl, the Bills are still the favorite in the AFC. So you have to play well. And those are 2 road games. They have, over their next 5 games, 4 of them are on the road. They have 2 back-to-backs. They go to Detroit, to New Orleans, home for the Saints, or home for the Patriots, and then they go to Buffalo, to LA. So this is going to tell you who the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are. They need to get Mike Evans back, and like you said, this offense from a passing standpoint, even though the offensive line isn't doing well in pass pro, Baker Mayfield is willing this team to win, and he is my current favorite for MVP in the NFL. You heard it here first. Baker Mayfield, my favorite MVP. I want to see him in the MVP trophy just because I think it'd be the most amazing thing in the world.
It'd be incredible. And like you mentioned, Joe, he's probably one of the most likable players in the NFL now. I like to say he's just got so much fuck you to his game. He's got he's just got so, like, every time he's on the field, you can tell, like, he's looking at the team like, fuck you, dude. I'm going to whoop your ass. And that's just something that you love to see from professional athletes. He's got that dog in him. And it's like, there's always conversations about, like, oh, who on the offensive side of the ball could play on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know what the hell position Baker Mayfield would play on defense. He could play something. You put him at linebacker, he would figure, like, the guy he's just a football player, dude.
Free
like
safety.
Baker, something, bro. Something where he could go hit somebody and just get it. He's like the Cam Scatterbo of quarterbacks, just actively trying to CTE himself. He's just out there being a dog, And
such a good comp.
And that's what he is. He's freaking. And we love watching him play. He's a gunslinger. He throws the rock all over the yard. Baker Mayfield, absolutely incredible. Like I said, though, I'm just a little bit skeptical about his supporting cast. He's been absolutely backpacking this team. I have no issue with anybody who says Baker Mayfield is the MVP through 5 weeks. He's definitely in that conversation. But I think this team has some concerns right now that may lead to some concerns down the road. So Buccaneers fans, you have a lot to be excited for. I just don't think you're quite the best team in the NFC just yet.
This has been Between the Uprights. Football is life. The rest is just details.